So I got a new microphone. I don't know if it works though, that's the thing. So I'm watching the levels. It's great. Welcome to planet Earth. Or my planet Earth, I don't know. Yeah, welcome to planet Earth. If you have not been before, I've kind of jumped on to do this video, so I haven't done one for a couple of months, and it's actually quite scary because time just seems to be passing by so quickly. That's the video. Bye. So I was actually planning to do like a kind of a new self-care series, so I suppose run with that. And why am I doing the series? Jesus, I keep finding hair everywhere. That rhymes. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, I think it can get a little overwhelming. It's frustrating for me more than anything because like I've kind of been saying certain things over the last 6-7 months, if not a year. I did do a video, I think was it early last year, like January or something. I've seen certain things and like the signs were there, so I was just kind of pointing those out. So it's kind of frustrating for me that I've said certain things and they are kind of coming to pass. I don't know, that's the video. What is this video? So yeah, I wanted to do kind of a self-care series because I can understand how overwhelming everything could be for people, and don't get me wrong, it is for me, but I suppose because I've kind of I don't know, it's probably the blessing of having like PTSD and things. Like when it comes to crisis situations, like big crisis situations, they kind of like they don't hit you as hard, I suppose. And then it's like the trivial things that you kind of have meltdowns over. I think I'm the ideal person in a crisis. I don't know, I think people will probably find me arrogant and all that thing, which is fair enough, you know, they can think that, and it's probably true in their reality. If you are getting overwhelmed, and I mean you have every cause to feel that way, know that it's completely normal to feel overwhelmed and kind of bewildered by the news and everything that seems to be coming out, and it seems to be coming out all at once. It might sound a bit like a conspiracist, like tinfoil hat kind of thing, but it is very much a manipulation tactic, and it is to grind down people. So the fact that there's so many different like doom and gloom news stories coming out all at once, it is an attack on people's psyches. I crap myself up. So yeah, it is very much a tactic to kind of quell people's spirit, I guess. So there will be more and more news. So let's just explain all of the events, hopefully coherently, oh my god, that word, coherently as I possibly can, and God love you all. I'm so sorry if it isn't, but I'll try and edit it to be as such, I don't know. So yeah, the series of events started with COVID. So that is why a lot of people might be feeling like the last 4 years have just kind of flown by and they feel like they haven't really been in their bodies, I suppose. And what is that? First of all, it's a trauma response, and it's actually dissociation, and I know full too well. So it's an event that's come in out of the blue, completely like something we don't want, something that we don't perceive. It knocks us for six, which it did, quite literally, you know, physically, if people caught COVID. So yeah, physically it knocked us for six, but mentally it knocked us for six because it was such a global event. And when it's such a global event, that's kind of when we can't really switch off from it, because it does affect everyone. It's not a case like it's a personal trauma kind of thing. So that's kind of where it all started, if not before. But I'm not going to go down that path. You know, this is something that's kind of been orchestrated for the last God knows how many years, probably about 60 if not to 100 years. This whole thing has been orchestrated. Now this is where the tinfoil hat people will tune in, so hello. But yeah, everything is orchestrated this way, and we don't see it because we have been conditioned, and we've been conditioned by the mainstream media and everything else, celebrity culture, to kind of focus on everything like around us, and look this way, so you're not watching what's happening there. So yeah, I'll plug that video that I did last year. I think it was last year, I don't know, I lose track of time. And this is the thing as well, we're very disorientated as a collective. I don't know if I can speak for everyone. I can't, I know I can't, but just on a species level, tuning into that kind of like frequency and things, we are all very disorientated, we're all very burnt out, and it's because these series of events have been strategically orchestrated to kind of bash us that way, bash us this way, bish bash bash. Fuck's sake. This is not my most articulate video, and I don't know if it will be the most coherent video, who knows. The joy. So what happens is, you've already got people at a certain level where they're trying to rest and recuperate, and then you've had this war with Ukraine, Russia and Ukraine. I don't really want to delve into like who's right on that, because war regardless is wrong. Hopefully that makes sense to people, and they have all been pushing for it. So there is actually no innocent government, because I believe that's proper conspiracies. But yeah, then so we came out of COVID, and literally I think it was a year after or something, 2021, that's kind of when the Ukraine-Russia war started, I believe. So we had no time to process from COVID, we've had no time to process from like other global trauma events, like you know, T events like 9/11 and things like that, especially millennials. I think millennials are kind of like that generation that are like, what next, you know, and if it's zombie apocalypse, you know, I don't think people will flinch. But yeah, it's a series of world events, catastrophic, traumatic events that have been designed to attack people's psyches. And why? It's because we are a cattle kind of species, or we're perceived as that. You know, I don't really believe in aliens and all that thing, but some people might. And I mean, you can kind of go down all the conspiracy trails and make of it as you will. But yeah, I actually believe it's just very evil, psychopathic people that know exactly what they're doing, and they have no remorse. They don't feel guilt. They don't feel the same feelings as other people. As normal people, normal, whatever the hell normal is. So it's all been designed to kind of attack and attack and attack and keep you at that level where you can't fully rest and you can't fully recuperate. So you're just kind of in that stage of, oh, I'm starting to get better, something else comes in, or I'm starting to get better and something else comes in. And what happens then, it's almost like the dog that's kind of been beaten thing, where you don't trust anything and you're just confused, so you'll snap at anything and everything, and it creates divide within people. So it is very much a divide and conquer thing. Then you've got all of the discussion around mental health, and the mental health thing, I mean, I believe in mental health, you know, everyone has mental health, but it's become such a double-edged sword, I suppose, because people aren't looking for what's right with themselves. They're just constantly looking for what's wrong, and it's because so many different things outside of us have come in, and it is a trauma response. You kind of ask, why is this happening to me, and what did I do to deserve that? You know, I thought I was a good person and all that thing. I can speak from like experience on this. This is kind of like how trauma brains work. You do kind of wonder what have you done to kind of garner this response from the world. But unfortunately, like most traumatic events, it's never the person at the receiving end. It's very much to do with the event outside of us. And you know, I did a mind shop. I did a mind shop. Did I? I mean the I don't know. My brain works in mysterious ways. But I did a mindset kind of workshop years ago. One of the teachings from it, one thing that really pinged for me, you know, that I took away from it, was Viktor Frankl's view on like events and trauma and things like that. And it's that thing that the traumatic event is always neutral. It comes in and is what it is. It's how you kind of react to that event that gives it more meaning. So obviously if it's something that causes pain, like physical pain, definitely, you know, you're going to have a negative response to it. You're going to perceive that as a threat to your life, biologically, subconsciously, and all that thing. All of these events, they are very much designed to elicit that response. So I work in marketing, so I can kind of see how agendas are kind of put out, and like what the the agenda is behind it, like the intention. I can see what the intention is behind certain events and things, especially when it's anything from the mainstream media, anything from the government. They do put out doom and gloom to keep people in a certain mind frame, and then they've brought out this thing that people need to kind of look into their mental health, because it is all to do with them and it's nothing to do with circumstance and all that thing. So the bittersweetness of mental health, there are people that kind of recognise that it's not just like you thought, it's not just from the individual. It, like, your mental health is affected by your financial circumstances, your friend group, your environment, the places you live, the global social global events and things like that. So that's where mental health is that double-edged sword. So it's that thing of like the government have fed it out to kind of I am just calling out the government. My opinions are completely and entirely my own. They do not reflect any employers or clients or people I know. You know, I take full responsibility. So yeah, and that's quite a disconcerting thing, because they're bringing in tighter laws on freedom of speech and everything else, and I think there is a new law. So this video is just for entertainment and educational purposes, so if you perceive it as anything else, that is entirely down to your own perception, so well done. But yeah, I believe there's a new law that if someone causes anxiety within someone, that person can get prosecuted, the person that's been accused of causing anxiety in someone. So well done, government. The mental health. So yeah, mental health discussion. So we've kind of nurtured and adopted this culture that is kind of more mental health friendly, to the point, like, you know, tell people if you're feeling upset and things like that. But it's also become this culture of like, what is wrong with me? You know, there must be something wrong with me to elicit all of these events within my life. Hopefully that makes sense, I don't know. So people are no longer looking for what's right within them, they're turning to everything that's wrong with them, and it must be because of this and it must be because of that. So when you're doing that, you're distracted from what's happening outside of you in the outer world, and the outer world is actually what's affecting you to feel that way. Now don't get me wrong, I believe in like actual disorders and things. You know, I'm walking proof of that. But in regards to like my PTSD, I can only speak for myself with this. I haven't used that as kind of like a crutch, or I've tried not to. It's only like the last couple of years after COVID that I started actually telling people, you know, and trying to promote this healthy mental health thing and being honest with people, you know, that I am flawed, you know, I am a human. I've had things, and like even though it probably looks to certain people that I've dealt with them quite well and things, that hasn't always been the case behind closed doors, you know, and especially in like personal relationships and everything else, you know. That's my stuff to kind of resolve, and I'm still in the process of doing that. But in regards to PTSD, I've never kind of let it stop me from doing things. So like when I was younger, I wanted to do like acting, filmmaking and all that thing, and I just kind of went with it. I've got a weird brain anyway, I suppose. But yeah, so yeah, that's what I'm trying to say with that. So yeah, I think we're getting to a point now that we're looking for things wrong with us to stop us from living our lives. That's kind of what I'm trying to say, and I think that's kind of part of the agenda as well of this. Yeah, let's campaign and advocate for mental health, and then take it away from people, because like we're throwing this at them and we're throwing that at them, and you know, we're pumping them full of drugs and like just keeping the pharmaceutical industries in business and all that thing. So yeah, this video is going to sound like a big massive conspiracy theory, and it probably sounds like I've lost my mind and all that thing, but if you haven't lost your mind in this world due to all of the events, I'd be very surprised, you know, and I'd probably suspect that you're a psychopath. So yeah, all of these events are carefully orchestrated and designed to elicit that kind of response from people, that bewildered, oh my god, what is happening, that shock. So everyone is very much in that freeze and confusion state where they don't really pay attention to all of the dodginess and evil, yeah, that's going on over there, because we're so down in the dumps here because there's this wrong with us, and they said this about us, and like they mustn't like us because like we did this, and you know, we're so distracted with our own pain that we just kind of ignore the fact that our world is being ruled by evil, psychopathic, sadistic cretins. Do I think they're human? I do. I don't believe they're demigods or whatever the hell else they think they are, especially like the ones that are kind of proclaiming that they're God's chosen people, you know. I mean, the fact that they think they can kind of speak for some kind of divine entity. So yeah, every single person, if you believe in a divine being, is a chosen person, I suppose, and in the same breath we're not we're not as important as we like to think we are as a species, you know. We're not the first creatures to kind of build homes and kind of work in a community aspect and kind of figure out how to use like certain things around us. We're not the first species to do that, you know. And I always go back to like orangutans. They are, if you watch them, they know how to kind of use certain tools, they know how to make tools, and they know how to build nests and kind of interact with their environment, and there's so many other animals that do that. So what makes us so special? If anything, I think we're the most destructive species on this planet. So I have a bittersweet hate-love relationship with our species. But yeah, so going back to these cretinous people that are just causing trauma and everything else, and then when people are trying to stand up against it, you know, they're just kind of like, no, off with your heads, you know. The self-care video. So in light of everything, because it is going to get, I think we're in that point where it's kind of either going to, what do I think? I don't want to put things out and cause anxieties in people. People send the cops at me or something, you know. Speculative entertainment purposes. Yeah, I think we're already at that. Like I said in my last video, I think we're at that pressure point, you know. The lid is well and truly bubbling. I think fair play to the younger generation. I think those are the ones that are kind of leading this revolution and things. And yeah, the students across America and things, I think they're amazing. I truly do, and I think we need to support the younger generation as much as possible and encourage them, because they do recognise injustice. They do feel everything on a deeper level. I think they're probably more of an empathic generation than previous, because they're new to it to a certain extent, so they're still very innocent. Whereas like millennials and Gen X and things, you know, we lived through traumas and all that thing where we're just numb, doom and gloom people. No, but yeah, I very much have like hope in this, the newer generations. I think they're fantastic, and the fact that they recognise and they're just so quick to stand up. I think this is the quickest response in history to kind of injustices. I could be wrong. The fact that people were seeing videos firsthand of like the atrocities that were happening and are happening in Gaza, that has caused all of this. So yeah, and then if you've been paying attention to the UN, which is very much like the older generations that are ruling the world, you can kind of see there's a disconnect, and I doubt like majority of people actually watch UN meetings, and really they should, because that's kind of where you can see what's happening. So you'll have representatives of the US, the UK, Israel, the allies of those, gaslight the world, you know, and say, oh, we're the victims, but yeah, we're killing all those people, but we're the victims, and those are the dangerous people. Those are the evil people, the ones that know exactly what they're doing and still causing harm. That's the most evil person embodiment on this planet. And then to kind of say to the people that are calling it out as an injustice, it's not happening, you know, you're crazy, you know, you need to we need to ban certain apps and things because it's affecting your mental health badly, and like, don't listen to those, you've been brainwashed, or you're a terrorist, how dare you kind of like call us out for that, and oh, you're wishing the annihilation of our people because you're calling for the stop of annihilation of another people, you know. So yeah, gaslighting. So that's kind of like what's happening. That's kind of like the introductory to this self-care series, I suppose. This is very much to kind of try and get people to keep their heads, because I think it's so easy, and I've seen certain signs of where the frustration gets to a point where you lose your head and you are kind of calling for the destruction of the people that are causing destruction. You know, that was evident with the Iranian retaliatory attack. There were so many people that have been calling for a stop to death and destruction, calling for death and destruction, and you can't, well, you can do whatever the hell you like in this world. That's the beauty of it, you know. But we're tricked into thinking we can't. But you had so many people that have been kind of advocating for peace, and then all of a sudden calling for destruction because they're so frustrated because they're not getting the results that they want. And that's another kind of gaslightery tactic, I suppose, is the fact that we are fed that narrative that we can do whatever we want, to a point. If it doesn't fall within these people's reality and kind of like expectations and things, then you're not allowed to do that. So have we got free will? Definitely. We can always choose how we react to an event. So in regards to like any retaliatory I'm trying to sound like so intelligent and articulate, and I'm not. In regards to any response to these people, just know war is wrong. The fact that we actively destroy each other, not for a survival effort, You know, people are putting it, oh, it's survival, it's because we might be killed or whatever else, you know, it's self-defense, it's not. This is the kind of major flaw within our species, is the fact that we kill for entertainment, and this is kind of where that Darwinian evolutionary aspect comes in, you know, the fact that chimpanzees do that, they kill for sport, instead of like survival at times, or like bravado, is very much that thing. So it's in regards to that, it's not a humanistic trait, I suppose. So yeah, so self-care tips. Let's give 3 self-care tips in the midst of all this madness. If you are getting overwhelmed by social media, you can switch off. I know there are the activists that are kind of like guilt tripping people, but if you are aware of the situation and you know you can't do any more, and you feel overwhelmed and you feel like it's draining you more than you can give to it, then switch off from social media. Try and disengage. I would say disengage from the news, because that has just been a propagandist like tactic for years, where it's just doom and gloom, or it's someone stabbed someone, or someone was hit by a car, or someone was murdered down the road, or like he had 2 minutes to live, and blah, blah, you know, it's very orchestrated to kind of keep people in that depressive mode. I haven't had like a proper television for like 12 years, maybe 13, I'm not sure. Yeah, if you're getting overwhelmed by like mainstream media, switch off from it. You have got that choice, you have got that power, you know, you don't have to sit there scrolling through it all, because it got to a point where I had to kind of switch off from those videos. I was still kind of sharing, and I was still aware of certain things, unfortunately, but yeah, it got to a point where I couldn't watch the more horrific videos, you know. I think that's kind of another tactic as well, is to put that content, allow that content to get out, so people are kind of like incapacitated. It's that freeze response, fight or flight freeze response, to seeing something so horrific. So yeah, if you're getting overwhelmed, switch off. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, yeah, make sure you're looking after yourself, so physically, you know, make sure you're eating properly, make sure you're taking the right vitamins and things, especially here in the UK. The weather is just, I mean, I wouldn't even like, I don't even know. I was trying to think of something witty, and no, but yeah, our weather is so like shite. So yeah, make sure you're taking your vitamins, make sure you're eating properly, make sure you're sleeping properly, even though like I'm not doing that, you know, and that's kind of like a normal response to certain events and stress and things like that. But yeah, if you can, try and sleep properly and things, and get into a routine. So people are probably wondering if they should quit their jobs and all that thing. Don't do that, you know. Please continue to work and look after yourself, and make sure you're kind of playing the system to that level where you're still kind of working and putting taxes in, even though like oh god. Yeah, back to the self-care. I mean, this is a series, so I can kind of explore certain things, and if people are tuned into this and like they're on the same wavelength, you know, feel free to drop comments on like what you want to talk about in the next videos. So yeah, tip 2 is make sure you're looking after yourself physically, make sure you're kind of exercising and the kind of being active and things, because that is very much like how your body stays top notch, to the point it can fight off flus and whatever other viruses. And tip 3, try and have some kind of a support system. Now for me, I'm very introverted, but it's because that's I'm at that point where I need to be by myself, so I can process things. I actually kind of function better when I'm by myself and not distracted by other people's drama and things. So yeah, that works for me. For a lot of people, try and have a support system. So I know for a lot of people, they're using social media as their support system, so that's great to a point, but try and engage with your support system outside of social media as well, because that is kind of where everything is all at once. This is like where people are finding their news, and where there's like conflict and like arguments in comment sections, and like videos flagged and all that. And, you know, you want to kind of remove yourself away from the trigger. This is a self-care tip, especially if you can't kind of recognize it as a trigger and what it does to you and all that thing, you know. And a lot of people can't. It's very hard to kind of get back into that present moment where you can kind of see something as a neutral event and then perceive it, or kind of work out how you're going to perceive that. So yeah, make sure you're kind of engaging with some kind of a support system outside of social media. Now, if you are to that point where you are just kind of an introverted person and you kind of crave that community thing, look at community programs. I'm sure like there are community programs, and if not, be willing to travel. I know like travel expenses and things can be expensive, like far afield and things. But yeah, if not, look to the social media support group that you have and see if you can set up like a walking group every Sunday or something like that. It's that kind of community thing. Keeping our heads is going to be the best combatant against most of this, because everything is going to be thrown at us, from like Darvo to just blatant tyranny, you know. Speculative, entertainment purposes, educational purposes, whatever the hell, you know. allegedly everything. There's not going to be a tactic that won't be tried, and the more we kind of push and call it out for what it is, the more desperate these people will get. And you can kind of see it from like the especially the UK news of so I mean the politics here, the games of politics, the game of politics is very much, so yeah, I've been saying all this stuff in the community tab. That's kind of like my journal slash, I don't know, curse the world kind of thing, and then be all tragic and throw up love songs and all that. That's my expressive diary, I suppose. My public diary, I don't know, to a point. You know, I have got some tact, I think. But yeah, the game of politics, it is very much a thing of the highest bidder rules the government. And if the government is the highest bidder, or kind of associates with those people that are the highest bidder, you know, the will of the people doesn't matter. Yeah, there's so much that I could kind of ramble on about, but yeah, the main thing is everything might seem doom and gloom, but that's kind of the narrative that's being spilled. They want can I say that? I don't know. The intention behind the stuff that's put out is, it's propaganda. It's that thing of to cause fear, to cause stress, to cause confusion within people, so people are in that state that they don't question them, and it becomes too much of a hassle to even try and fight against it. You know, that's kind of the intention behind the agendas and things. So yeah, those were 3 self-care tips. So just to recap, you know, if you're getting overwhelmed, switch off. You're allowed to do that. You know, you're one person at the end of the day. Tip number 2, make sure you're looking after yourself physically, dietary. Tip number 3, what was it? Community kind of thing. So yeah, make sure you've got a support group, and fantastic if you've got a support group where you can kind of speak openly, to the point, you know, you can say, this is affecting me, this is kind of making me feel overwhelmed and things, and even better if that support system knows how to respond to that. So yeah, a tip that I've kind of picked up from like my mental health first aid course is active listening. So if someone's coming at you with their feelings and their thoughts. You don't have to respond, you can just be there to listen. You know, you don't have to have an answer for them. You can be honest and say, or I don't know how to respond to that. But yeah, just let people vent. Because when we're so constrained and like chokeholded to that point where we're not allowed to express, we're not allowed to challenge things, that's kind of where the major injuries to our mental health come in. So yeah, it's very much look after ourselves is the best combatant against all of this tyranny. We're in a tyrannical world. The dinosaurs never left. So yeah, that was that. What else? I don't know, I'll probably save it for like other videos to go into all the agenda and like the reasoning behind it. There's no reasoning, it's all madness. You know, you have very much got mad men in power. And mad women. There are very evil women in power as well. So yeah, I don't know. For your next videos, please make a tinfoil hat. I'm joking. I think laughter is going to be a great way to deal with this thing. This is kind of like my resilience strategy to trauma and things is to try and make light of it, I guess. I don't know. That's me. I think I'm a bit defective, but and there will be people that agree with that. So yeah, if you're getting overwhelmed, if you're a troll, like if you're a troll. If you're a troll, drop a comment. Oh Jesus! Feel free to drop a comment. You know, there's a hug waiting for you, a verbal hug waiting for you if you are a troll, or if you're someone who just wants to say whatever, you know. Oh god, I could do with the entertainment, to be honest. So yeah, if you're a troll, drop a comment. If you're overwhelmed or you want me to discuss anything, no, I'm no expert. This is the thing, you know. It's just it's a maddening thing for me because I can see it all so clearly for what it is and what's happening and the strategies and everything else. And that's kind of like the blessing and the curse, I suppose, of like having trauma. Having like trauma for the best part of my life. Half life. Love. Like, serious? Wow. I think I'm just happy I did a video. I don't know if this is like the most profound thing that I was supposed to say. But yeah, this is the thing. If you feel like you need to express, please express. Do not keep that bottled. There's enough pressure building as it is, like collectively and globally. Please express in whatever ways you need to. I just have no I don't know, I just kind of put out my thoughts and feelings to the world because I don't really care what people think. No, I do. To a point, you know. I just have no like shame. I have no shame. No, I know it's just how I'm supposed to express things. With certain things, you know, I'm not going to express everything. I have got some tact. Oh Jesus. Yeah, that's it. Please express in whatever way you can, and please do it in healthy ways. So avoid like substance abuse and all that things. You know, that's not good for your body at the end of the day. Yeah, if you can express it creatively, fantastic. That's kind of like what the world needs. Hiccup. Is more creativity instead of destruction and despair. So creativity and hope That's the best way to combat everything. And a bit of delusion and madness, and yeah, stay sane inside insanity. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know if there's any sense whatsoever. I don't even I don't even know if I'm speaking English. Oh god, imagine if I get to editing this video and it's just a balloon. Oh, we didn't half laugh, Tom. There you go. If you enjoyed that, if you're intrigued, or you're kind of like looking forward to the next episodes of this weird and wonderful self-care series, tune in, subscribe, guys, girls, non-binds. You know, I'm very accepting as long as you're not a shit of a person. Or a fucktard troll. No, all trolls welcome as well. Feel free to subscribe and unsubscribe and all that thing, you know. Yeah, that's it. Stay awesome, stay classy, be kind, and keep your heads. That's it. Bye.